Test, test. This is the first call for Class 2 Fall Gilts. This is the first call.
Hey, what you guys? Yeah, I did a bunch of recommended Yeah, you know, I would like to see the
Now entering the ring is the fall gilts. This is the first call for Class 1 of feeder swine. Please be ready.
Well, good evening and good to be back as we sort through the swine side of things. And I think we've got an awesome way to start. Obviously, a gilt show that only has 4 individual entries, but I think there's quality from top to bottom. I thought it was a close top pair. My decision today is going to utilize the young lady's tricolored gilt. I think it's that look off to the side and the added elevation she has at the top side of the blade, which really stamps it in stone for me to lock in on her. And past that, you get in behind her, and obviously we've got a different scheme of things, and it's not a market hog show, but I still think as a crossbred gilt, you've got to talk about back and bulk, and she's so shapely. And again, I think she's long enough in terms of her stride. I think her glaring hole to me is when you study right there into her rear flank, kind of clean that up to make her that much more competitive. But that's a sharp-headed one that has an advantage up high in terms of elevation and look, and I like that one quite a bit. Young man driving the Landrace Influence, or Down Ear Chester, however she classifies. I think she's got some big things working for her, and that starts immediately at the surface. That first view you get of her is so impressive in terms of that square and wide toe spread she offers. I think to me, as I got off to the side and studied her, I got to get that one neater, not only from her shoulder forward, but if I can drive that one up just to nickel the top side of her blade to make her that much more impressive, if you will, in terms of the silhouette that she represents off to the side. But hey, that's a good bodied, heavy muscled one nonetheless. Young man does a tremendous job getting her good, but let's give him a big round of applause. I think close between 3 and 4, and obviously you've got some differences not only in terms of breed, but also in terms of build. I thought there's more value in the predominantly white gilts, and she's going to go ahead and slot herself in that third hole. It's that profile that really does it for me, and the picture that she paints. Again, I'm one that falls in love with elevation and look, and I think she has that. And then you study her all the way to the ground. She's big in terms of her foot. She's rugged in terms of her bone. I would like to see her bolder in terms of her rib shape, but I think she's got enough set and curvature in those regards. Young man does a good job getting that one stuck. Give him a round of applause. There's more depth of body and softness of middle, if you will, on that Berkshire appearing gilt that rounds out the class, and I appreciate that about her. She's deep and productive in those regards. Just got to see that power match down low. Read her to be nickel frail in terms of her foot, too fragile in her bone. If you make her rugged and stop that one up, I think she's got a nicer day ahead of her. But hey, young lady does a good job. Things fit very, very well. Let's give all four of these kids a big round of applause.
In fourth place, Sage Lancaster. Third place, Caleb Brooks. Reserve champion gilt goes to Turquoise Stone. And champion gilt goes to Turquoise Stone. Now entering the ring is the feeder swine. This is the first call for Class 1 of Market Swine. Please be ready.
Just one class on the feeder side of things, and to kind of switch my mindset and switch gears and have the understanding that, you know, their end goal will be a market hog, you know, in the next 2-3 months based on your size and performance, obviously. I think there's a logical place to start. That's the young lady here in the red vest. I think that one just demands your attention immediately. That first shot you get of him coming into the ring, he's just so broad and bold in terms of his chest floor. And then you analyze him at the ground in terms of foot, toe spread, stoutness of feature, and everything blends and matches in those regards. He's a stout-headed one. He's big in terms about his back. He's wide at coming and going. I think to get critical on him, which we need to pick all of these things apart because there's not a perfect one, is how he handles his rear too. I got to make that one more athletic for me to fall in love with, but I thought he was mobile enough, and young lady does a tremendous job getting that one driven. Give her a big round of applause. Different size. I'm going to go the young lady here with the little guy is going to round up second. I love that one off to the side, and quite honestly, prefer that look to the class winner. Just in terms of length of back and height of shoulder, I got to make that one more coordinated off his rear too. And I thought coming at you, he wants to funnel to the ground. And truly, if you study his foot size and up into his ankle, I want to see him stouter and more rugged in terms of how he's built in that aspect. But that's a shapely, good-looking one nonetheless. I think he does a phenomenal job. Close in 3 and 4. My third place one's coming at me right now. That's the young lady's belted gilt. Love the shape and the expression that one offers up high. Obviously, in this stage of the game, we want to see her bolder right there in terms of her rib cage. I thought her biggest flaw for me is how that foot meets the surface. Got to make that one tougher, bigger, and bolder, if you will. to make everything balance up, because she's got power up high, just didn't study that one down low. But nonetheless, young lady does a good job getting that one quick presented. Give her a big round of applause. Young lady that rounds up the class with the Berkshire Marks one. Hey, the elevation and look up front of that barrel is pretty unique, I think, for that particular breed. A lot of the time you send those Berks and they get a little bit plainer and coarser from their jawline into their jowl, so I appreciate that about him. It's just unfortunate today in terms of what he's paired up with. We got to make that one wider, we got to make that one bolder in terms of his muscle, but nonetheless, we've got some quality up front. Give them all a big, big round of applause.
In fourth place, Annabelle Cleland. Third place, Riley Van Nest. Second place, Turquoise Stone. And in first place, Layla Tabor. Now entering the ring is Class 1 of FFA Market Swine. Currently in the ring is Class 1 of FFA Market Swine, weighing 215 to 225 pounds. This is the first call for Class 2. Please be ready.
Well, I think a nice way to start the market side of things, and I think there's a pair that surfaces up high for me that's relatively competitive, and at the same time, I think they're different, they're build in kind. The young lady here with the hair belted barrow, she's going to go ahead and win this particular class. I thought his big advantage is coming right at you, because there's another one that I prefer in terms of look and build, but that guy in terms of his chest floor, from his sternum down into his knee, and then as he drives away from you, thought he maintained the more authoritative width and power to the bottom part of the skeleton. You know, you get up high and he's got width from blade to blade and pushes enough power back into his hip. I'd like to see him more shapely in terms of how that muscle is laid down on the upper part of his skeleton. And then for my kind, the more blaring hole, if you will, is from his blade forward. I want to see that one longer in terms of his neck and clean him up from his jawline into his jowl. But that's getting picky on one, because that's a good bodied, good built one nonetheless. It's got enough power. Give that young lady a big, big round of applause. The young man driving the predominantly black gilt, that one's going to wind up second. And really for me, you know, off to the side, that's what I prefer in terms of height, the shoulder, and look up front. The problem with that one is coming and going, because I didn't read that one as powerful through the lower part of his skeleton like I found in my class winner. With that being said, she's got some bone and she's got some feature. I think getting nitpicky on her too. I'd like to see her boulder in the upper part of her rib just to make that center cavity blend in that much smoother. Love the look, love the profile. Young man does a good job. Let's give him a nice round of applause. 3, 4, and 5, you know, there's a lot of differences in terms of where we are. I went performance and productivity. Young man's big belted barrel here is going to wind up third today. I love the center body in terms of his power and his roll that he possesses. There's a glaring hole, and that's down low. You study that one come at you in terms of the set and non-rigidity, if you will, how his pass turns rolled too soft to the surface floor. Got to fix him in those regards and then elevate him and make him that much neater looking. But hey, meat animal aspect, he's got some width, he's got some power and muscularity. Just wanted to fix him down low. But a quality one nonetheless. Let's give him a nice round of applause. Young lady with the other belted barrel, he's going to wind up fourth in this particular class. I like the added height to shoulder and the extension that he offers relative to what we just plugged into that third hole, but it's just, he reads too stale for me. From his chine into his shoulder, I want to make that one that neater and that much smoother. I want to soften him through the fore portion of his rib cage and make him boulder up high. And then coming and going, we got to pull him apart in terms of how his lower skeleton's built. But hey, off to the side, I like him. I commend the young lady. Let's give her a nice round of applause. Round out the class with the predominantly black barrel coming right at me. And again, he's got foot size and bone, and I like that about him. He's got some shape from behind. It's just a simple fact. We got to redesign him in terms of how his pass turn lines up into his ankle. We got to pry him apart going away. But he's got some shape, he's got some muscle. Young man does a solid job. Let's give all 5 of these kids a nice round of applause. They head back.
In 5th place, Damian Castro. 4th place, Samantha Valdez. 3rd place, Kate Johnson. 2nd place, James Russell. And in 1st place, Lexi Johnson.
Now entering the ring is Class 2. Now entering the ring is Class 2 FFA Market Swine, weighing 227 to 233 pounds. This is the first call for Class 3. Please be ready.
Well, I think a nice class, and I think we've got a top pair that definitely surfaces, in my opinion. I opt to use the young lady here directly in front of me, this all black gilt, to win this particular class. Now, just as a piece of constructive criticism to the young lady, you get that thing polished up and come back into this champion drive, you're probably going to have a better day if you bring it in drive. So just my suggestion, get that one shined up and ready to rock and roll. Hey, past that thing is so big in terms of his foot, so wide and bold in terms of her chest floor. And then up high, I think where she's got the biggest advantage relative to the others in this class. She's the broadest and she's the bulkiest. She's the most expressive as well too. Ideally, I think her upper rib needs to be softer and bolder in those regards. I'd like to see her take a longer and looser step, but that's a tall-shouldered, good-looking one. It's got a ton of power down low. Let's give her a big, big round of applause. Young lady with the belted barrel here towards I'm walking towards that. That one's going to go second today. I just didn't read that one as balanced in terms of what we see in our class winner. And what I mean by that is he's got spread up high. Just didn't see him balance up in terms of foot, bone, and body and back ratio. Got to make that one bolder down low. Coming at you too, he wants to funnel just a nickel as he drives towards you, and then going away, he has that same aspect we've got to fix. And with that being said, young lady's got that thing shined up and presented to a T. She does a tremendous job. Let's give her a nice round of applause. Different types and kinds in 3 and 4. I opt to power and utilize the young man's blue belted gilt to go into that third slot. You know, that thing in terms of her skull shape and behind her blade and the width of her back and the power she has from stifle to stifle, it's undeniable that that's an advantage over what we just talked into. It's that hip design in the rear third of the skeleton is what I want to see fixed. Got to make that one longer and looser in terms of how it flexes and functions off the rear legs. With that being said, wide base, good body, big back, and stout. Young man does a nice job getting that one shown. We got the other top 4 that's still out here. That's the bigger belted barrel. I like the elevation, and I think that one's probably sounder in terms of his length of step that we just talked. In third, it's just the balance is what I'm lacking to find on that one. He's cutting that thing off to the side, and he wants to break towards the center part of his back, and he's too coarse right there in his hand-loin hookup. If we can fix that top line aspect, I think he's got a better day ahead of him because he's got some body shape, he's got some flexibility and fundamental pieces. Just want to see that look that much neater off to the side. We got the young man coming out next with the speckled hair, predominantly black gilt. Love this one in terms of height and shoulder, extension and elevation up front, and I do appreciate that. I think it's fit to a T as well. The problem on her is we just got to power her up. Not only in terms of her lower skeleton, but we got to match that mass up high. She's too plain and nondescript in terms of her muscle pattern. But I love the elevation, I love the look. Does a phenomenal job in terms of getting that one driven. We're going to bring him out consecutively to round out the class. The young lady coming out next with the longer haired barrel. Again, one that's got some positive in terms of just having a nice, conventional, basic type of market hog. He's got some body shape. Looks like he was an easy feeding one. We just got to make that one bolder down low in terms of not only chest width, but foot size, ankle stoutness, and arm strength, and then pry them apart up high. And then round out the class with the young man's belted barrel. That one's got an advantage relative to what we just talked about in terms of shape. I just got to get that one down lower in terms of its structural integrity. It's got some swelling going down from its left rear hock into its ankle. To get that one fixed, he definitely tightens up a spot or two because there is shape up high. Hey, good set. Congratulate all 7 or 8 of these kids. Let's give them a big, big round of applause.
In 5th place, Kevin Massey. 4th place, Elijah Rodriguez. 3rd place, Tyler Andreas. 2nd place, Jenna Garnadel. And in 1st place, Riley Phillip.
Now entering the ring is Class 3. Currently in the ring is Class 3 FFA Market Swine, weighing 235 to 240 pounds. This is the first call for Class 4. Please be ready.
Yeah, you guys go the same way. Only they don't fight.
Okay. What?
You said that.
My thing was running everywhere.
I know, so was mine.
Dude, I literally like got a concussion right before that. Did you see my pig running?
I think you got sit down.
Yeah.
We're running a nice place this particular class, and that's the young lady's guilt on the far side of the ring. She's going to win, and obviously she's giving some fits as we get to this point of the evening. But hey, that view right there coming at me, man, she's coming down that lead-in alleyway, and it's not even close in my mind. In terms of the power she has from her chest door all the way into the elbow pockets and down into her knee. She's square, she's genuine. You get off to the side and you study that one in terms of the look that she offers. She's tall shoulders. She's appropriate in terms of the length of her back. She's bold and wide in terms of her muscle shape. I think ideally we can make that one that much more deeper in terms of how her rear flank line sets up. If we do that, that one's got a lot of neat pieces. Look forward to seeing that one back later in the evening. The vocal one is second, and that's the blue map, blue hip one. And quite honestly, I prefer the centered body shape and then the depth he has relative to our eventual class winner. And I say that in terms of his rear flank. I think we still need to trim him up on his sheath back into the lower third, but that one too, in terms of his backside width and power, the boldness he offers in his ribs, and everything is so smooth and balanced off to the side. I think ideally we like to see him take that much sooner and looser of a step. I like some things about him in terms of his upper power. Do is just lead them up simply put. If they've got too much cover and finish up high, it just kind of takes away from the look off to the side as well as the power and the muscle shape. I like his chest more. Got to square him up down low. Got to make him sharper in terms of his muscle design. That's a good solid one to go down that far in the class. Young man brings that fun belted one out, the gilt, and again, different speed, right, relative to what we just talked. That one's taller shoulder, that one's long and extended through the front third of her body wall. Just not stout enough in terms of her feature. Too plain and soft, and if you will, weak in terms of her foot. Got to make that one more aggressive in her bone work. But got a good look, skin and hair's on point. Give him a big round of applause. Round out the class, and again, 2 quality market hogs. And sometimes the judges struggle because both of these have some really good pieces. It's just structural build, balance, and look. We sacrifice them to get down to that low. We amplify their muscle shape and design. We make them that much better balanced. They'll have a better day because the young people got a tremendous job getting skin and hair ready. Let's give all 8 and 9 of these kids a huge round of applause.
Fifth place, Luke Turner. Fourth place, Charlie McDivitt. Third place, Jacob Michelle. Second place, Riley Pollock. And in first place, Danny Garcia. Now entering the ring is Class 4.
Now in the ring is Class 4 FFA Market Swine weighing 245 to 250 pounds. This is the first call for Class 5. Please be ready. Our judge tonight is Kyle Datson. Kyle Datson is from Atascadero, California. He has been an ag teacher and livestock education coach for the past 20 years, while also overseeing the swine and beef projects for his FFA program. Kyle and his wife, Carolyn, own Datson Farms, a small purebred influence show pig operation. Kyle's twins, Karis and Crew, show hogs on a national level across the country. Kyle has coached several champion livestock judging teams over his career and continues to judge county and state fairs throughout the western United States. Let's give Kyle a warm Bishop welcome.
Well, I think a logical place to start in my mind, and that's the young lady here directly in front of me with the microphone. Wins it quick and wins it fast, because I don't think there's one that rivals this guy in terms of look and balance, and at the same time possesses a tremendous power, not only on the upper portion of the skeleton. That one's so square and genuine and wide from the sternum down into his knee, and then you get in behind him. He handles his rear legs well enough. The young lady does a tremendous job. Let's give her a nice round of applause. quite honestly, and not to be generic in this comment, but there's a lot of different things and different avenues that you could go as you get into 2, quite honestly, even down to 5, 6, 7, and 8. Because I think there's quality, and at the same time, there's a couple things that separate itself in my mind. I thought this Fun-Mark, cheetah-like, if you will, wild animal-looking gilt needs to go into that second spot, and here's why. It's just off to the side. I read her as the most balanced relative to what we had left in this particular ring. You get in behind her and you look up high. She's got width and power down the back side of her spine. Maybe not the most shapely, and I'd like to get her that much trimmer and neater, if you will, in terms of her muscle shape. And I think the biggest glaring hole for me in the show ring venue is we got to make that one stouter in terms of her foot, bolder in terms of her bone. But that balance, nonetheless, what dictates her to get up into that second slot. Give that young man a nice round of applause. Young lady on the far side with the white sock gilt, she's going to go 3, and I prefer that one in terms of the height of her shoulder. I prefer that one relative to the 1 and 2 in terms of her foot size. Problematically speaking, I think as you study her right there at the surface floor, we got to make that one more upright in terms of her pastern. And I think the glaring thing too is coming and going. She wants to funnel ever so slightly down low, make that one wider and bolder and square in terms of how she settles. I think she works herself up a spot or 2. But I prefer that look, prefer that elevation, the front third. Young lady does a nice job. Give her a big, big round of applause. Young man with the big Delta barrel, that shaggy-haired one's going to end up 3rd. And again, I think he's more aggressive in terms of the muscle shape that he offers on the upper part of the skeleton. It's the front third where I got to fix that one. You study that one from his shoulder forward in terms of how his neck settles in, right to his blade and up to his spine. Got to make that one that much more unique in terms of offering more elevation and tying in that much neater and smoother. With that being said, that's a very conventional and practically made barrel. Young man does a nice job. Give him a big round of applause. Young man coming out here with the big Delta gilt, going to wind up 4. I think simply put, the best way to describe this one, she's bold about her body. Unfortunately, that power doesn't match down low. She's too small and fragile in her ankle and foot. We got to make that one stouter. And maybe more impactfully on a market aspect, we got to make that one trimmer. We got to make that one neater in terms of its muscle design. With that being said, that's a quality one nonetheless. Young lady here on the far side with the long body belted barrel, she'll go next. I think she's got an advantage in terms of foot and in terms of bone and skeletal power. Just saw that one on the drive. I think nickel 2 uncoordinated in terms of how he utilizes not only his rear legs, but his front 2 as well. And that is a wide-chested one nonetheless. It's got a lot of power. Just wanted to fix that one in terms of how he allows himself to maneuver around the ring once on the drive. That being said, like some things about her, and he does a nice job. Give her a big round of applause. Yeah, this was a problem one of the bunch because honestly, if you study him on the standstill, you're way in because he is so stout, he's so wide, and I think unfortunately that almost works to his disadvantage. You study him on the move, he wants to kick and push outside of his body wall, and it's simply just his athleticism is what we got to amplify to get him more competitive. I saw him start to stress and break down and tie up, and honestly wanted to give him a rest. So we didn't have 4 legs up. But hey, that's a powerful one. That's stout, that's wide, that's massive. Unfortunately today, it's just the athleticism or mobility that drives him into that lower spot, and give her a nice round of applause. We'll get the remaining 3 out collectively and chit chat them. Young lady coming out, young man coming out with a big scaled, long body gilt. That one's just too closed up in terms of her chest floor. Like her foot size, like her bone feature, like the back shape. We just got to make that one more powerful, the lower portion of the skeleton. It's the fundamental aspect that we need to fix on this from the rear third of her skeleton. Study that one in terms of her hips. She's too steep, but at the same time, she's got shape and expression in terms of her muscle pattern, and I appreciate it about that. We'll round out the class with a good, smooth-built one. Off to the side, I appreciate. Just thought this one was too plain in terms of her muscle pattern, too fragile in terms of her foot size, and too closed up. And a good body, highly presented one. Let's give all of these kids a nice big round of applause.
In 5th place, Kate Johnson. 4th place, Kaden Hillard. 3rd place, Cora Van Ness. 2nd place, Owen Arndal. And in 4th place, Ariana Rager. Next in the ring is Class 5. Now entering the ring is Class 5 FFA Market Swine, weighing 253 to 260 pounds.
My time's limited.
Travis Kenneth.
Every year for you.
What's your name?
logical place to start and quite honestly an easy decision. That's to utilize the young lady's all black gilt. She went very well. There's some things that we can fix on her, and I wish Paige that much looser and longer in terms of her step off in the rear too. But if you ignore that fact, man, there is a lot of good in this skill from her shoulder forward, and that is my kind. Just a sleek-headed one, but at the same time still maintains some ruggedness right into her jawline. That added elevation and extension, she ties in so high and neat into the top side of her shoulder. The profile she presents is phenomenal. Skin and hair, immaculate. I make this comment, and I'm not saying it lightly. You know, this deal becomes so competitive that sometimes as a show judge, you're enamored with skin and hair, and that's what immediately grabs your attention. So hats off to this young lady on a phenomenal gilt. Give her a big round of applause. Well, 2, 3, and 4, we've got some different bits and pieces. I like the young lady's blue-eyed barrow here to go second. I thought just his center body bulk and the mass that he offers up high, he's got more shape and expression. I think he's a nickel more balanced in terms of what we're going to utilize in our third place hole. He's stout and rugged in terms of his skull. I think everything matches down low as well too. Ideally on that one, I'd like to make him that much more elevated. I like to strengthen his front feet and make him smoother as he transitions to his hammerhead hookup. But that is a stout one, a big ended, big backfield nonetheless. Give her a nice big round of applause. The young lady with the painted up barrel is going to go 3, and I think he fits the mold of what we just talked into in terms of big body, big back one. It's just a balance component. I didn't read him as neat as we saw in terms of our top 2. I want to make that one that much trimmer right here from his jawline into his jowl. He's got some good basic pieces in terms of muscularity and center body. Give her a nice big round of applause. Young lady's blue-eyed, blue hip gilt goes 4, and again, that one's more shapely in terms of what we just talked relative to our third place class winner, but there's not enough balance, and what I mean by that, from a bone to a body to a mass aspect, now that gilt is so massive in terms of her backside width and shape, she's so powerful right in the center part of her body, and then you study her all the way to the surface. You gotta see that one bigger in her foot, you gotta see that one stouter in her bone work. And maybe more problematic too is how she utilizes and handles those rear legs. If we lengthen that hip and drive up the root of her tail, I think everything smooths and balances. Hey, big body, big back one. Give her a nice big round of applause. Young man coming out in 5, again a very productively put together, if you will, barrow. And I say that in a positive aspect because he is so big, bold, and bulky, not only in terms of his upper skeleton, but that power transitions into a good shape, good center body cavity. Just got to make that one neater in terms of his look up front, got to make that one stronger on his front 2 pasterns, and then make him more genuine in terms of how he comes at you. He wants to close up from his knee down to his foot as he drives. Same thing on the rear view as you study him. You got to make him more secure in terms of how he handles his rear legs. Love the body, love the back shape. Give him a nice round of applause. That comes up next, more my kind, right off to the side in terms of height to shoulder and extension from her blade forward. I like the barrel's chest floor. Just thought we run out of steam in terms of upper skeleton and in terms of how he lays that muscle up high. Kind of becomes plain and nondescript in those regards. And then you study him on the drive, wants to flail and push out of his body wall in terms of where he plants and pushes off his rear too. And he's a good-looking barrel, highly presented. Give her a nice big round of applause. Further, the remaining 2 out, and again, I think some positivity comes out with the young man's belted barrel in terms of height to shoulder and looseness to skeleton. It's just a simple fact. Rented him as a nickel over in terms of the amount of finish. He got laid on his muscle. I gotta see that one stouter and bolder woman and going away. But love the skin and hair. Young man needs to be commended on that as well too. Round off the class with the Yorkshire influence or predominantly white barrel. I love the width that he's got from stifle to stifle, and I appreciate it about that barrel. Just got to make him more fluid on the drive. Got to make him neater in terms of his in-ring appearance. With that being said, he's got some muscle. He's got some body depth as well too. Let's give all 9 or 10 of these kids a huge round of applause.
In 5th place, Sean Landavarde. 4th place, Lillian James. 3rd place, Alyssa Trulson. 2nd place, Karma McKee. And in 1st place, Jillian Vinker. Next in the ring is Class 6. Now entering the ring is Class 6 FFA market swine weighing 262 to 275 pounds. This is the first call for Class 7. Please be ready.
Bro, that was fast. These farm beats suck. Are they all farm? Yeah. I have to go last at auction. We're going to the next round. We won, didn't we? First What place do we go? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. No, we're going to next round. It's good. All of us here already.
Yeah, none of us actually know.
Yeah, because you got an Oklahoma pick.
A nice place to start in my mind. That's the black-headed, black-hipped barrel here directly in front of me. I think he wins this class particularly easy in my opinion. They're both pretty good players in terms of basically off to the side. Ideally, I'd like to see him that much taller in terms of his blade. but at the same time, you still got a good look up front, and then you get in behind him, and there's not one that comes close in terms of the shape and the poise, if you will, and the presentation of muscle he has up high. He's so shapely and so descriptive, and then pushes that power all the way out of a big bold hip and then leaves with a big wide pin set. I think we can make him that much freer in terms of how he utilizes his legs, but at the same time, he's well enough on the drive, and he wumps everything in my mind in terms of presentation and power. Give that young lady a big, big round of applause. Young lady with the shaggy hair Delta barrel here is going to go second. I like that barrel from the front third of the skeleton, and I appreciate the body shape and the power he possesses. Here's the problem on that one, is when you study him off of the silhouette from that profile view, he's just too weak in terms of his top line. If we can strengthen him down his spine, I think that makes everything blend and create that much more of a smoother appearance. But he's got width, he's got power. Young lady does a nice job getting that one driven. Give her a nice round of applause. Young man coming out here with the black-headed, big-bodied one is going to go third in this particular class. And I like the basic build of this one. I think he could be more shapely in terms of his upper back shape, and I think he'd be trimmer through the lower third of his body cavity. And I thought foot, bone, and skeletal feature, and then height of shoulder allows him to go into that third spot. Let's give him a nice round of applause. Young with the traditionally belted barrel is going to go 4, and I listened to the argument because he has more upside shape. He's got more turn to the upper portion of his loin edge, and then you study him off to the side. I think he's balanced enough in terms of his look. The problem I read him is at the surface floor. Got to make him stronger and more correct in terms of his pass reset. Got to make him stouter in terms of his bone work, and then pry him apart both coming and going. But a good feeding, basic built one. He's got a lot of shape up high. Give him a nice round of applause. Young lady's field that comes out next, and some of you, I don't know if we catch ringside, but got some extra dew paws. Honestly, that's not why she goes in this particular spot. The reason she goes into this particular avenue, she's too closed up to her lower skeleton. I love that whole turn she has right into her forerib, and then transitions that power all the way into her upper and into her lower body wall. She's got some look off to the side. Got to see that one more aggressive in terms of how that muscle raised up, but a nice skill nonetheless. Let's give her a nice big round of applause. The young lady that comes out next, man, that is a big body one, and I appreciate that because it tells me that he's got the ability to consume and then hopefully convert feed. Problematically speaking, I think we got him just a nickel too full, and that's not the young lady's fault. A lot of these ones just become looser in terms of their center body cavity. If we trim him up and make him neater from his foreflank back into his rear flank, and then tuck him up into his glands, and then make him more shapely up high, because he's got some good pieces nonetheless. In terms of center body productivity, we got to make him more shapely and more aggressive in terms of his muscle shape. The all black barrel comes out next. He's the neater made one of that particular pair. He's got more look and style off to the side, and just study the front 2/3 of the skeleton. And I bring that up because problematically speaking, it's from his hook camel and hook up into his hip. That one's too short and steep. If we lengthen the hip, you drive the base of his tail up, you can see he's too restricted.
I thought I had it.
That fix to the skeleton is going to allow that barrel to rock and roll in a smoother stride. I love the presentation. I love the muscle shape. Just got to fix some skeleton. Give him a nice big round of applause. Young man with the painted barrel comes out next. I thought just very basic and flawless, if you will, in terms of his ability to move. Not enough power today for me. Not only our muscularity component, but also as you study his skeleton. How to amplify that one in terms of power and thump, and he moved himself up a spot or two. If he's got some good fundamental things working for him, give that young man a nice big round of applause. A wide, broad back one comes out next, and a lot of the times, as a judging coach, you talk to your kids about this, is you get enamored with how wide it is up high. Unfortunately, that width doesn't match down low. And here's why. That is white fat, right, laid up top. It's not red meat and muscle. So he's got that width, and a lot of that is just the fact that he's a nickel over in terms of his condition. If we trim him up, he definitely moves up a few spots, because I love the look that he offers, and man does a nice job. round out the class with the predominantly black barrel. Again, thought the barrel had some good pieces in terms of just being a good, practically driven market hog. Gotta make that one more shapely, gotta free that one off his rear legs. That man's done a tremendous job in terms of skin and hair presentation. Give all 11 of these kids a big, nice round of applause.
In 5th place, Elijah Reynolds. 4th place, Riley Pollock. 3rd place, Salvador Rios. 2nd place, Miley Patton. And in 1st place, Morgan Booth. Next in the ring is Class 7.
Well, you know what the deal is.
Now entering the ring is Class 7 FFA Market Swine, weighing 280 to 305 pounds.
First one pin. Last play. Can I go in?
Currently in the ring is Class 7. Next in the ring will be the FFA Drive.
First one pin. Last place. What's up, Grandma? Yeah, I got was. What's up, Hannah? Yes, I got last. Hey, you never know. Oh, Coach.
Huh?
What's up? Hey. I can say I got 7th. I mean, there only was 7 of them. I got 6. I think one final year. No way, Jack's still in there. Jack's got the pig, dude.
What's your name?
Levi. Got a participation medal. Or something.
Means I got first, right?
Hey, John. You should have saved the pedo stash before this. I mean, you got top 5, right? Technically.
You guys are still showing Rises.
I think a nice gilt to start this class, and that's the young man's big belted gilt. And she'll win this particular drive, and I think she does so in a couple venues. It's off to the side. I love her look, and I love her presentation on the profile. And then you step in behind her and you draw your eyes up high. She's got enough power from the back side of the blade into her hip. She's got the widest chest and the widest going away, but at the same time, a good-looking one that handles her feet and legs well enough. Give that young man a nice round of applause. There's more thump and power in terms of lower skeletal width in the black and white barrel on the far side of the ring, and he goes second. I love it, again, the presentation that he puts together on the profile, the silhouette that he's assembled is unique enough for me to draw my attention, and then he starts to study him in terms of muscularity and in terms of feature, and he's got enough power. He's a wider chested one. Problematically speaking though, didn't think that one was as secure on his feet and legs immediately at the surface floor. Got to fix him in terms of his passing set to make him that much more competitive. But a highly presented one nonetheless. Give that young lady a big round of applause. The belted barrel goes third, and I like this guy about his skull work. And you get behind him and you look up high. He's so broad about his back. Just gets that power transition all the way to the ground. Study him on the drive. He wants to close up in terms of where he settles his front tube. Same thing going away. You got to pick him up on his pass moves and make him that much neater in terms of how his neck settles into the front side of his shoulder. Well, that being said, the stout featured one, it's got a lot of backside power. Give her a nice big round of applause. Young man's predominantly white barrel goes 4, and I like a lot of things about him in terms of basic fundamental market hog value. He's big and bold about his rib cage. He's got width and power up. He's got to have that power transition all the way down to the arena floor, not only in terms of the size of his foot and his bone, but also the skeletal width. He closes up coming at you and flows down to the ground going away. And again, stout skull, big back, big body one. Young man did a tremendous job getting that one driven. Give him a nice big round of applause. A highly fit one comes out next, and this is the young man's belted gilt. And again, I love the power that that one offers in the center portion of her skeleton. Just got to see that funnel all the way down to the ground. Amplifier in terms of her foot and her bone stoutness, pulling her apart in her chest for her. And she works herself up a spot or two. And I love the body shape and I love the productivity. The man does a nice job. Give him a big round of applause. We'll bring the remaining two out consecutively and talk to them as they come. Young man's got a stout featured, big footed one. This sits all that one in terms of the profile he presents. Too short and steep in terms of his hip. To make that one more functionally and fundamentally correct off his rear too. The shape and expression, young man does a nice job. Give him a round of applause. Round off the class with another belted market hog project. Love the skin and hair texture. Love the presentation. Just didn't read as much muscle shape and power as we found ahead of her. And with that being said, a high quality one nonetheless. Let's give all these young people a nice round of applause.
In 5th place, John McMurtry. 4th place, Jackson O'Neill. 3rd place, Allison Norris. 2nd place, Larissa Simpson. And in 1st place, Garen Pritchard. Now in the ring will be the FFA Drive. Class 8 4H, please be ready.
well, I made this comment when we were doing the steers. It's not easy to get to this stage in today's day and age. So can you give these individual class winners a huge round of applause? Well, as a family, we always try to make this our first goal, and once you win your class, it absolutely opens up the floodgates of what can come. And I'm not going to talk to each and every single one of them. Obviously, this is my reason why I selected champion and reserve. But we talked to them in class, and I think there's quality in every single one of these class winners. But there's more quality in my mind in your eventual FFA champion. We talked to this guilty class. If she could just reach and push and flex that much more, even the upper rear too, it's not even close. But at the same time, I think she is pretty decisive. The look off to the side, the bulk and power she has, not only in terms of her muscle mass and her center body, so stout and good built. Anyway, with the All Black, that's it. We're doing that second place and definitely becomes competitive in the mix. And quite honestly, there's a trio of them in my mind that are in contention. And I'll kind of talk them so you guys have an idea of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And in no particular order, but the young lady that drives that black-headed, black hip one, if you will, man, that one is so big in terms of his back. It's so powerful in a lot of avenues. You don't know if he's functional enough off his rear too in terms of where he places his foot and his jump ball on the surface floor. He's just chilling out in terms of how he settles and pushes and makes him more athletic. We'd like him that much better, but he's got a lot of upside nonetheless. The young lady here with this belted barrel is another one that I think is in contention for your reserve honor. A lot of things about that one in terms of the look that he offers from the side. He's so bold and square up high in terms of his backside shape. I think his balance to his legs and his body and his matches. He's not the stoutest creature out here, but I think everything blends and meets and matches together. And then the other young lady that's in contention in my mind is that lighter weight deal, man. That chest shot coming at you, that skull and that jawline is so powerful. Not sure she's going to turn up in terms of her center body, especially that rear flank. That's a big legged one nonetheless. It's got a good look off to the side. I'm going to go basic, fundamental, but still got enough power, still got enough look. Not the stoutest or the widest creature out here, but he's wide enough and stout enough for me. Look at his barrel right here, chicken reserve.
Congratulations, your champion FFA Market Swine goes to Jillian Vinker. And reserve champion goes to Ariana Ranger. Class 8 4-H market swine. Now entering the ring is Class 8 4-H market swine, weighing 215 to 225 pounds. This is the first call for Class 9. Please be ready.
We did bad? Probably not. Sam, breathe. You're doing it. Wait, does this mean we can go?
I don't know, so keep showing them in there. Just act like you're showing them still. Okay? Wait. No worries. And sometimes Sam, just keep turning around. You're doing good.
Well, I think a very logical place to start. That's the red-headed predominantly white body in this particular class. And that man did a tremendous job in terms of skin and hair and presentation. And at the same time, break that one down for what he is. From his shoulder forward, the shape of his skull, the power of his jaw, the width he's got from his sternum into his knee. I love the length of back he offers, and then you get in behind him and you study him up high in terms of power and shape and expression. All of those items are there. Let's give that young man a nice big round of applause. Young man's belted Gilt going towards the far side of the ring. She comes second, and quite honestly, that first view I got of her coming down that alley, man, that thing is so wide and busted open from her sternum down into her knee, and at the same time remains square in terms of where she works off her front too. You get in behind her, same thing, she's got some advantages there. I think it's off to the side and how her spine's laid in. Just too upright and rigid, got to make her more comfortable, but a good looking one that's got a ton of power, ton of foot and feature. Young man does a nice job. Let's give him a big round of applause. There's more comfort and mobility in the young lady in 3, and that's the other belted Gilt. She's a tall-shouldered one that's loose about her spine. Just didn't read her as powerful relative to our top 2. She wants to close up as she comes at you, and at the same time, a good balanced one. Young lady does a tremendous job in terms of presentation. Give her a nice big round of applause. Probably white belt comes forward. I like some basic and fundamental pieces about her. Love her center body shape. She's bold in terms of the upper roll to her rib cage. Didn't read her as powerful as you study her against our top trio. In terms of her foot, in terms of her bone, if we amplify that and make her that much stouter in terms of her feature, I think she moves herself up a spot or two. I love the comfort, love the basic build. Give her a nice big round of applause. Young lady's got a belted one that comes out next. It's got a ton of power. It's that rear third where I got to fix that one in terms of its skeleton. It's too short and choppy in terms of how it's utilizing his rear legs. If we fix that, make it more fundamentally correct, I think he works up a spot or two. Love the elevation, love the look. He really does a nice job. We rolled the remaining 2 out. And I think there's some structural components, and I think there's some build aspects that we got to fix. There's a ton of product on this guy that's coming out next. Hold about his shoulder, big in terms of his back. So shaped in a muscle aspect. Just got to see him become more mobile in his show ring setting. Definitely playing a high cut ability carcass. Really does a nice job. Round out the class with a long body elevated one. It's got a lot of step and reach in terms of how that skeleton is put together. Just didn't know if I saw enough meat and muscle on that one to get it up a spot or two. I love the basic fundamental skeletal assembly. Give that young lady and all of them a nice big round of applause.
In 5th place, Ashlyn Joseph. In 4th place, Jose Martinez. 3rd place, Peyton Hohenstein. 2nd place, Carson Hohenstein. And in 1st place, Tristan Charlie. Next in the ring is Class 9. Currently in the ring is Class 9 full-range market swine weighing 230 to 235 pounds.
Nice gilt to start. That's the young man going towards the far side. It looks pretty easy. There's some holes and we'll chit chat on that one. But again, my initial comment, quite honestly, the skin and hair and the presentation, spot on. So commend the young man in those regards. Talk the hog. There's a lot of good in terms of what she is and how she's built. Thought she was in terms of her mobility, one of the longer and looser started options of this particular class. And with that being said, has enough punch and power up high in terms of roll and turn from the backside of her blade into her hip. Is she the stoutest footed, biggest armed one? Probably not, but at the same time, everything blends and balances, and she has that ability to move and roll with ease. I like that gilt. Let's give that young man a nice round of applause. There's a stouter featured option in two, and that's the young lady with this belted gilt directly in front of me. If you study them side by side, that gilt has an advantage in terms of foot, bone, and skeletal feature. I see it. I agree with that comment. It's a mobility aspect is where I criticize this gilt. Coming at you, she's just ever so slightly, so tentative in terms of how she utilizes the front two. You swing in behind her. She wants to bow just a little on that outside left hog, but at the same time, a ton of shape, a ton of body, a ton of skeletal feature. The lady does a tremendous job on the skin and hair as well too. Give her a nice big round of applause. Young lady's predominantly white arrow going towards the exit gate. That one will end up third today. Love the look from the shoulder forward that one brings to the ring. Thought he was elevated in terms of the top side of his blade. Just didn't read him with enough power relative to our top pair. Got to see that one crisper down his backside. Got to see that one bigger, bolder in terms of his foot and his bone. It's a good middle one. It's got a good look up front. Give her a nice big round of applause. Young lady's belted arrow going towards the exit. He's going to go out. He's going to go forth. One that I thought in terms of practicality, he's got some good pieces, and what I mean by that, the upper turn to his rib, the depth of body that he offers. I think he's got enough spread up high. Maybe not the most shapely, not the boldest in terms of the skeleton, but again, practicality, and he does a nice job. Give her a big round of applause. Round out the class with a blue eye, blue hip skill. Again, one that's tall at the top side of her shoulder, really neat and extended up front, and I like that about her. She absolutely has some foot, some bone in terms of her skeletal feature. Just got to see more punch and power on the muscularity aspect. Got a prior part on the skeletal component, not only up high but down low. With that being said, a tall shoulder, good looking one. Give that young lady a big round of applause. We've got to get all of them, but then we're back to the ring.
Fifth place, Annabelle Alcala. Fourth place, Ellie Boyd. Third place, Giselle Martinez. Second place, Lily Wagner. And in first place, Peter Charlie Jr. So next in the ring is Class 10.
Yell at me. Okay. Oh, that's good.
Attention swine exhibitors, if you look on the Google Sheets and your name is highlighted in yellow, that corresponds to the bred and fed class. Make sure you come back after the Supreme Drive. Again, if your name is highlighted in yellow on the Google Sheets. currently in the ring is Class 10 4-H market swine, weighing 238 to 248 pounds.
A nice class, a nice place to start, and that's the young lady's fun marked one, if you will, the belted barrel going away. It's just the basic build and the burliness that this one offers, specifically in the center part of his body cavities. You know, maybe disappoints you as you study him up high in terms of shape, power, and expression, but at the same time, he's good built, he's basic in terms of what he offers, he's stout in his foot, he's wide enough coming and going away. You can amplify that muscle shape. I think it wins quite handily that much easier. But again, at the same time, good functional type of barrel. Give that young lady a nice big round of applause. Quite honestly, the decisions I'm having in my head is between 2 and 3 because you've got two distinctly different types and kinds. I'm going to opt to go power, and that's the young man Sandy Belted Gilt directly in front of me. That one just so much more shape and expression. Skeletal width and power is just clear all the way to the surface relative to what we're going to plug into that third hole. Now at the same time, I'd love to see that one taller shouldered. I love to see her smooth right there at her ham loin hookup and that much more coordinated off her rear too. But I couldn't ignore the fact that she had so much more product than the young lady's belted barrel we put in third. Excuse me, young man's belted barrel we put in third. That's that barrel going across the center part of the ring. So tall and elevated in terms of how he's built. And I love the profile he possesses. It's just when you get in front and behind him is where he concerns me. Not stout enough or wide enough in terms of the width component, and then lay your eyes up high. You got to pry that one apart from blade to blade and lay it down with more shapely and expressive muscle. With that being said, the sound-footed one, I love the look. Young man did a tremendous job. Give him a big round of applause. Young man on the far side of the ring is going to go next with the phenomenal white arrow. Got some blue up there on his hip. Now that one was square and wider in terms of what will go in 4 and 5. Why does he settle in that particular spot? It's a balance aspect for me. Got to get that one more elevated at the top side of his blade. Got to raise the root of his tail up and lengthen his hip. I think he's uncoordinated off his rear too. So we fix those issues. He moves up a spot or two because quite honestly, he's got squareness in terms of his back shape. We just got to fix him on a balance component. Young lady with the predominantly white barrel is going to go next. Love the center body shape that one possesses. Just got to stouten that one up in terms of his foot, in terms of his bone, and make him better in terms of the look he possesses by elevating the top side of his blade. He's wide-chested, love his body shape. Young lady does a phenomenal job. Round out the class with the young man's belted gilt going across the center portion of the ring. Elevated, long body, big skeleton. Just got to get one more meat, muscle, and skeletal power. That being said, young man does a good job driving her. Give them all a big, real big round of applause.
In 5th place, Mia Sosi. 4th place, Hunter Daly. 3rd place, Benjamin Kemp. 2nd place, Ivan Castro. And in 1st place, Skylar Morley. Next in the ring is Class 11.
Now entering the ring is Class 11 4-H market swine weighing 250 to 258 pounds. This is the first call for Class 12. Please be ready.
Yeah, it looks like it's painful.
Well, probably one of the deeper classes we've seen up to this stage of the game. And with that being said, there's a top pair that elevates pretty quick in my mind. But at the same time, there's one that wins quick, and that's the young lady's black. From the ground up, this one does a lot of things that I appreciate in terms of foot size and stoutness of bone. That chest shot coming at you, and the young lady drives her. From the time she hits that alleyway all the way in, you lock onto that. Skin and hair is immaculate. Talk about the gilt in terms of her markability aspects. Big in terms of her back. Bold in terms of her foreleg. So powerful in the upper and lower part of her rib cage. You get in behind her is why she wins this particular class, because she's the squarest going away, and at the same time probably the widest in terms of her pin set. Give that young lady a huge round of applause. Young lady's blue mask, I love that one. Third of that one skeleton is immaculate, if you will. In terms of the height, the shoulder, and then the extension that barrel offers. I think when you study him to the rear portion of the skeleton, he wants to weaken ever so slightly in the center part of his back. I want to see that one tie in that much smoother in his handling hookup. That's not why he's second. He's second because when you get in behind him, you got to square that one up from hop to hop. I'd like to see him stouter and more rugged in terms of foot and bone. But a good looking run, highly presented. Give that young lady a big round of applause. Young man Sturrock Influence Sparrow goes 3, and I love that chest shot that he possesses. He's wide from his sternum and down into his knee. Just didn't read him as powerful as our top two, more specifically from stifle to stifle. And as you study that one in the lower portion of his ham, you got to pry him apart from hop to hop as well too. He's a broad-chested one, tall shoulder, and then does a nice job of getting that, giving a big round of applause. Really different side of the spectrum in 4 and 5, and my option is the Berkshire Influence Skilt to go next, and I get it. She's probably the frailest of the remaining that we have out here, so why did she go 4? She's the surest footed of the remaining options. She's long and loose about her stride, and so at the same time, as you put your eyes up high and study her on the muscularity aspect, she may not be the widest, but she's got shape, she's got expression, she's got enough muscularity and skeletal width for me, coupled with the fact she's long and loose about her stride. Give that young man a big round of applause. Burly footed, burly body one comes next, and that's the young man's painted up barrel. didn't read him as sound and sure-footed as you study him next to the Burke. If you like his added foot and you like his added boldness of body, I'd listen to that argument. Too plain and nondescript as well too, but at the same time, foot and bone. That man does a nice job. Let's give him a big round of applause. Young lady Belcher Bill from the far side is going to go next. It's apparent to me that thing is packed full of so much muscularity and product. Just got to make her more secure in terms of how she utilizes those four legs around the ring. Love her chest floor, love her center body, love the shape and expression. Young lady does a nice job. Round out the class with the young man's predominantly black barrel there. Like some good basic build about him in terms of the center body power. At the same time, I'd like to trim him up the lower third of the skeleton. I'd like to make him more agile off his rear too, and then make him more aggressive in terms of how that muscle lays down his top line and spine. With that being said, a good body one. The man does a nice job driving him. Let's give each and every single one of these kids a nice round of applause.
In 5th place, Ethan Williams Jr. 4th place, Hunter Daly. 3rd place, Carson Berkovats. 2nd place, Turquoise Stone. And in 1st place, Kylie Simpson. Next in the ring is Class 12.
How are you?
Now entering the ring is Class 12, 4-H market swine, weighing 260 to 268 pounds.
If they made it like bacon, more people would eat it. Sweet maple bacon. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Sweet maple bacon cotton candy. Ooh, that's all right.
There you go. Thank you, Rissa. Which one was mine?
don't you pair them up? You guys can't get it. You're good, you're good.
Don't bother.
What's your name?
One of the interesting top pairing, and one that definitely is close in my opinion, but my option is the young lady in that red vest. I think her advantage is from the ground down in terms of foot and in terms of skeletal feature. And then you get in behind her and you study that one relative to what we'll put in second. From her stifle into the lower portion of her ham, she just reads so much bolder and bulkier in that specific avenue. She's burly in terms of her body shape. She's wide up high. If I could get that much more shape and dimension, it'd be a non-negotiable pair. That's where I criticize her too. Just wants to become ever so slightly a little bit plain and nondescript up high. But a big-footed, good bodied one that has an advantage in terms of power, driving away from him. Young lady does a tremendous job getting that one fit and presented. Young lady's belted gill's going to go second towards the middle portion of the ring. Lovely chest shot of that one coming at you. That gill gets her head tipped up as she pries apart from her sternum down into her knee. She's good about her center body depth. She's wide up high. This is the one I was chit-chatting about. If you study that one from her stifle into her lower ham, she just wants to flatten and taper. And I didn't read her as powerful to our eventual class winner. With that being said, a short back, good looking one off to the side. Love that chest shot. Give her a big round of applause. Young lady's predominantly black barrel, or all black barrel is going to go third. And I like that one in terms of his skull shape. He's still sleek about his head, but he's got some rigidity, if you will, and some stoutness about his jaw. I like the chest shot as well, too. Just didn't think he matched the power he had from the upper portion of his blade all the way down to the surface. We make that one bigger in terms of his foot and more robust right there in terms of his bone work. I think he's going to have a nicer day in this particular class. With that being said, good looking barrel off to the side. Young lady did a nice job. Give her a big round of applause. Young man's splashed up gill is going to go 4. And again, one that offers that much more shape and dimension up high. You can see the balance to that one off to the side. She wants to break at her ham rolling. I'd like to lengthen the length of her back and then make her stronger on her front 2 pasterns. But at the same time, shape and dimension, she's got a neat enough look from the front 2/3 of her body forward. Give that young man a nice big round of applause. Young lady's predominantly white barrel goes 5, and again one that reads tall and extended from not only the top side of his shoulder, but that forward as well too. Just didn't think he had enough body shape and power right there in the center portion of his skeleton. we amplify that and they can boulder up high in terms of how that rib cage sets in to his upper spine, it's going to give him a bigger advantage because I like the look he possesses off to the side. Young lady does a nice job. Give her a big round of applause. Coming out next, different speed relative to what we just talked in terms of build and type and kind. This one's a shorter body, lower fronted one, but at the same time needs more power up high and bolder in the center part of the skeleton. Problematically speaking, as well as when you get in behind that one, he wants to get too bowy right there in his hock. If we fix him and reconstruct him and give him that much more height to shoulder, he's going to have a better evening into this show, Judge. Anyway, he does a nice job in terms of getting it presented and driven around the ring. Two young guys come out collectively, we'll chit-chat on them. I like this Sparrow's stoutness of skull and jaw, and I like the width he offers up high. Unfortunately, just wanted to funnel and transition down to the ground in a narrow spectrum relative to what he has in the upper part of the skeleton, but a good body, highly presented one. Young man's Beltabera going on the far side of the ring comes next. Tall, long-bodied. We just got to make that one more powerful in terms of the skeleton and muscle mass. But I like the fact that he's loose about his step. Young man does a nice job. And then we had the quick step and run. The young man does a tremendous job getting that gilt shown. I know she's being challenging for him, but he never really gave up. And I commend him on that. Ollie presented one nonetheless. Just got to amplify that one in terms of bone and in terms of muscle mass. And at the same time, long neck, good looking off to the side. Hey, good competitive cross. Give him a ball. Big good round of applause.
In 5th place, Caitlin Kemp. In 4th place, Waylon Russell. 3rd place, Reese Buffington. 2nd place, Brooke Taylor. And in 1st place, Layla Tabor. Next in the ring is Class 13.
Good job, Dominic. Good job, Dominic.
Now entering the ring is Class 13 4-H Market Swine, weighing 270 to 325 pounds. Next in the ring will be the 4-H Champion Drive.
moving. There you go.
Nice place to start. That's the young lady's all black pair in the center part of the ring. He's going to win this particular class. And in my opinion, I think he goes pretty quick. And he may not be the widest going away from it, but at the same time, off to the side, he paints a picture that's well enough scenic for me. He's bold about his center body. He's wide up high. I like the feature that he offers down towards the surface floor. The lady does a nice job. Give her a big, big round of applause. The barrel that comes wider and bolder in seconds, that's the young lady's jumping barrel here. Problematically speaking, in my opinion, is you study him on the drive. We got to make that one more athletic in terms of how he utilizes not only his rear leg, but also the front part of the skeleton. Pick him up and make him stronger with passing. Because that is a big back one that's got a lot of body shape, a lot of lower skeletal width. He really did a nice job. Give her a big round of applause. I like the shoulder hair black gilt to go 3 in this particular class, and I'll listen to the comments and that one's not stout enough in terms of her bone work, and I agree with you, she's not, and that's probably why she goes 3rd. But at the same time, from the upper 2/3 of her body, I love the shape she offers. You get behind her and you study her up high. She's bold about her blade, and she's wide and pushes a lot of power and product all the way back to her hip. And then they have done a phenomenal job in terms of skin and hair and presentation. I like the bigger bodied one to go next, and that's the young lady splashed up there in the center part of the ring. That one is burly and stout and dense. When you study him, he's not unique enough from his shoulder forward for me. From his jawline into his brows where you got to fix him, and then trim him up to the lower 1/3 of his body cavity, and then specifically as you study him into his bird glands, got to fix those. But a big bodied one nonetheless. It's got a lot of skeletal power. Give that young lady a nice big round of applause. Women's big belted barrel goes 4 going across the ring, and I like the look that one presents relative to what we just talked in 4. Just didn't see the power, not only on a muscle mass aspect, but specifically down to the ground. That one's too fragile in his foot to get into that top 4. But again, at the same time, a good looking one, good balanced one off to the side. Give that young man a big round of applause. Predominantly white barrel comes next, and I like the muscle shape and the power that he possesses from his blade back. It's just a look off to the side is where I get critical of him, specifically from his rear 1/3 of his skeleton. You study right there at that hamline hookup into his short, steep hip. We got to lengthen that hip. We got to drive the base of his tail up. I think I'm making that much neater off to the side. Hey, but at the same time, good body with a lot of muscle. Give that young lady a nice big round of applause. We got a very practical barrel that comes out next. Off to the side of the profile is where I get critical of him. The height of his hip relative to his shoulder, he wants to run downhill. That's a burly back, good bodied one nonetheless. It's got some reach and flexibility. Give that young man a nice big round of applause. Bring out the remaining 2 collectively. Young lady's Yorkshire Influence barrel comes out next. I love the elevation and the look. Just didn't read that one stout enough to the ground or wide enough coming at you. With that being said, she does a phenomenal job getting that one stacked. Run out the class with the Berkshire Influence barrel. Love the center body power. Just didn't think that one was neat and tidy enough. Through his jaw and jowl in the lower 1/3 of his cavity. But he's high performing, good middle. The man's got a good job, done a good job fitting that one. Give all these kids a big round of applause.
In 5th place, Dominic Jacobson. 4th place, Savannah Gastelum. 3rd place, Brooke Taylor. Second place, London Russell, and in first place, Sage Lancaster. Now in the ring will be the 4-H Champion Drive. Just a reminder, if your name is highlighted in yellow on the Google Sheets, make sure you come back for Bread and Fed, which will be following the 4-H drive. The Supreme Drive, sorry. Currently in the ring is the 4-H Champion Drive. From Class 8, we have Tristan Charlie. Class 9, Peter Charlie. Class 10, Skylar Morley. Class 11, Kylie Simpson. Class 12, Layla Tabor. And Class 13, Sage Lancaster.
Well, again, just as we know on the FFA side of things, if you guys can give all 6 or 7 of these kids a big round of applause for their class. Again, it becomes challenging from year to year as you follow this show pig deal. And I guess you can show stock industry is so competitive, and it's just the little things that separates these barrows and gilts from time to time. That being said, I don't think it's close in my mind. There's a gilt out here that wins, and not to be generic, but wins for fun and pretty quick. Dingley is all black gilt. That's just
Congratulations, your champion 4-H Market Swine goes to Kylie Simpson. Returning from Class 11 in second place is Turquoise Stone.
We bring that second place from that class, a very competitive class, and we talked to him, love the look that he possesses off to the side. Talked about, why we beat him in class, and that view I got from behind. Just wanted to square him up, and then coming at you, you can just pry him open from the sternum down low. I think he got to be more competitive, but at the same time, and I dig a lot of things about this one, specifically that profile he possesses, the back shape and power he offers. from the backside of his blade into his hip. I like that one. He's definitely in contention. I think there's another couple of them in contention. Just kind of give you guys ringside of what I'm seeing. That sandy-headed one, I think it won the first or second class of the evening. I love the length of back he offers. Love the look off to the side. Not quite sure if he's athletic enough off his rear too. If he can just pry and pull that off past the base of his tail, that much easier and that much further, and then bring him back inside himself on the skeleton wall. I think he's that much more competitive. Young lady's the red belted one here in front of me too. Love the bulk and the power she offered. Talked about that one in class. Maybe just could be that much more aggressive and shaping in terms of its backside shape and power. And then another one too, I don't want to talk a lot of them, another one too, young man's belted deals, very, very fresh in terms of the presence she offers, maybe not just quite stout enough down low. There was a pair of them I thought was tough in class, and I'm not going to put them up. That young lady's blue eyes are easy.
And your 4-H reserve champion goes to Turquoise Stone. Now in the ring will be the Supreme Champion Drive.
Battery life certain
Currently in the ring is the Supreme Drive. From Class 5, Jillian Vinker with the champion FFA Swine. From Class 4, Ariana Rager with Reserve FFA champion. From Class 11, Kylie Simpson with the champion 4-H Hog. And from Class 11, Turquoise Stone with your Reserve 4-H champion.
Let's give all four of these young ladies a big, big round of applause. And not to talk a lot outside the big thing, but obviously, you know, getting in this deal and living it and being so if you will, addicted to it as a family. This is something that we value tremendously, just in terms of what it does for our kids, in terms of creating work ethic and having the ability to handle defeat, because there's going to be one for sure to be happy, maybe a couple, but there's going to be a lot of sour taste in the mouth. And I always tell the twins, that's not why we're doing this. It's absolutely incredible to win. It's the friendships and it's the memories. That's what needs to be targeted. And I echo that to the parents, because I know as an advisor and as a dad that travels around, you get frustrated because this is not a 2 + 2 = 4 thing. It's just so subjective. Line these things up one day, with another guy, you may have a different outcome. But at the same time, it's not even close in my mind. I think there's an individual out there that offers look, offers power, mobility is key, comfort level spot on, the presentation's immaculate. Young lady wins the 4-8. Thank you. Obviously, you bring the reserve 4-H contention and line that one up side by side with the champion FFA. And there's differences and there's similarities at the same time. I keep coming back to one though, just in terms of comfort and the ability to take a long and fluid stride. Don't we criticize that poor guy just in terms of how his rear legs settle down low. But at the same time, it's the profile, it's the fresh back kick they got laid in that one. He doesn't get enough for me off his rear too. Young lady's reserve 4-H.
Congratulations, your grand champion goes to Kylie Simpson. And reserve grand champion goes to Turquoise Stone. Next in the ring will be the bred and fed class. If your name was highlighted in yellow on the Google Sheets, please head to the ring.
I used to hunt in there all the time, and then some school first back in the day, and then I think he made we were young guys, so yeah.
Before we move into the bred fed side of things, we've got 3 individuals that sorted themselves high enough in class to make that sift, if you will, to come back to the champion bred and fed. And I think all 3 of them bring some positive things to the table. Skin and hair presentation spot on, body feels awesome, they're fresh back. There's one in here that just offers that much more in terms of center body cavity, in terms of spread from blade to blade, and then pushes that advantage all the way back to a wider pin set. This young lady's a black and white spot.
Congratulations, your bred and fed goes to Larissa Simpson. Next in the ring will be the pen of 3. If you have a pen of 3, please get ready. Now entering the ring is the pen of 3.
Thanks. Like not laying down and stuff. You're welcome. That was
Well, you got two high-quality groups to sort through the Pen of 3 thing, and by no means is it an easy decision. I thought I was going to get away with just one, and can't mess that one up. But hey, at the same time, I think there's a trio of them that, just in terms of build and look, and at the same time being that high of quality, I prefer the FSA group, and then obviously that 4-6 section. Let's give them all a big nice round of applause.
In first place, Bishop FFA, and in second place, Sierra Crest 4-H. We'll see you all here tomorrow at 8 a.m.